Loving when we don't want to. I want to start with a little story. I've shared this before, but it's very appropriate. It's one of these stories that's timeless, and you can look at it multiple ways and get your own answer for it. It's kind of a parable. There once was a beautiful white swan who lived in the vast North Oceans. And during the winter, it would fly south, where the weather was more conducive to life. And as it was spending the winter in the south, spring came and it was time to head home. So it began its long journey to the North Seas. And as it was flying this long journey, it became tired, so it thought it would take a rest. So it landed on the water's edge of a well. And at the bottom of this well was a frog. And the frog said, "Who's that?" "I'm a swan, and I come from the North Sea." "What is the North Sea? What is this ocean? How big is it? Is it as big as this?" He looks around at his little pond. "Oh no, it's a lot bigger than that." So the frog takes a jump back. "Is it bigger than this?" "Oh yes, it's much, much bigger than that." So the frog jumps back 5 big steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. "Is it bigger than this?" "Oh yes, it's greater than that." So the frog looks at him and he runs all around his well, his world. "Is it bigger than this?" "Oh yes, it's bigger than that." And so the frog said, "Well, you're a fool and a liar, because I know nothing's bigger than my world and my well." Have any of us ever found ourselves in our own well? Perhaps when the light comes to us and reveals maybe something that we could expand upon or grow into. Loving when you don't want to. Why don't we want to love sometimes? Love is the truth of our being. That's who we are. We're God's love made manifest. So I guess we think we can use our free will to do whatever we want. And we can. But when we do that, we stop or limit God's expression through our expression. So why don't we want to love? Well, we want to judge. Isn't it good to be able to judge things, people, places, and things? They don't relate to us anymore. They're going to make us get out of our comfort zone. We feel separate from life. We feel separate from people. We separate with our gender, with our nationalities, with our education, with our economic system. We separate and judge. Some people threaten us. Just their presence threatens us. And what they're doing is just revealing a fear that we hold deep within our hearts, deep within our soul, that we need to look at so we can let it go. A lot of times we withhold our love because we don't want to change. We don't want to change. And people are asking us to change. Nope. I don't love you anymore. You're asking me to change. Sometimes we withhold our love to punish people. Isn't that crazy? We judge them, condemn them, judge them, punish them. And you know, if we can begin to understand that God loves us, God doesn't judge us, well then how can we do that to our brother or sister? So these are all little ways in which our personality, our ego, our lower self looks at the world and sees ourself and sees others. But as we begin our spiritual journey, we're asked to shift. We're asked to change. So we'll read you, this is pretty famous. It's in Matthew 5, verse 43, 44, and 45. Okay. And Jesus talking to a group of people. This is what he said. You've heard it said, be kind to your friend and hate your enemy. This is back in the eye for an eye days. But I say to you, love your enemies, bless anyone who curses you, do good to anyone who hates you, and pray for those who carry you away by force and persecute you, so that you may become sons of your Father who is in heaven, who causes the sun to shine upon the good and the bad, and who pours down his rain upon the just and the unjust. And what Jesus was asking the people to do, and we being the people, is to change our perspective, to let go of the judgments that we hold within our hearts through our past experiences and karma, and to just let go. Has the time come for us to see ourselves and others in a new way, from a higher perspective? Free from judgment and expectations between others that keep us separate from them and the world. Time to understand that all of us are doing the best we can, the best that we know, within the limits of our beliefs and capacities. Don't you think that little frog was doing the best that it knew? That's the world it knew. That's its belief system. And like I said, we can all look at our little wells and look at the belief systems that we hold and look at the world that we are creating from our beliefs. If we can believe that God loves us and doesn't judge us, doesn't withhold from us, doesn't punish us, then how can we do this from others? To take that leap of faith, to take that step and to sacrifice our lower consciousness and allow for a higher consciousness, that love I am, to begin to express through our life. And sometimes it's hard, and sometimes we don't want to do it, but that's what we're asked to do. The law of God is love. The law of God is love. And love demands that we transcend our lower consciousness. See, love demands that we transcend our lower consciousness. The law of one. I love the law of one. The law of one supersedes all the other laws we learn about. The law of cause and effect. Let's go to law of one. The law of multiplication, let's go to law of one. The law of love, let's go to law. We can go to the law of one. And we are one. We are one. And just to begin to walk, our walk, from that perspective. To not let love be an afterthought, but to begin to choose love as the energy with which to create with. To create with love. Not after the fact, and not with rationalization. but to allow that love to just bubble up and then express freely through who we are. Because once we begin to allow love to begin to flow through our life, those negative thoughts, beliefs, and patterns that we hold within ourselves begin to dissolve. And then the expression of those thoughts, patterns, and beliefs begin to disappear from our outer world. They begin to disappear from our outer world. And that takes a leap of faith. Because don't certain people need to be punished? No. Until we lift into our higher consciousness, we will not be able to transcend the human nature. We are spiritual beings. We are divine. And as we begin to live our divinity with spiritual awareness, our world and the world will begin to change before our eyes. And that's what takes faith. And that takes discipline. And that's what takes us to sacrifice our lower self. Our petty judgments need to be right. To let go of all the lower that keeps us from ascending. Like the song said. It's a beautiful song. And we can live that song. Not just listen to it. We can live it through our actions. To allow our life to truly be a reflection of the love that is within our heart. This is what Plato said. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a hard battle. And you know what? We're all fighting our own battles, aren't we? And who are we to judge how someone's fighting their battle? Or we might even know the battle they're fighting. But to begin to have love, accepting who we are, forgiving ourselves if we miss the mark. Because every time we do that, that energy goes out into race consciousness and allows for another layer to be dissolved, to be dissolved. Jesus' mission was to lead us to the kingdom of heaven within. Jesus' mission was to lead us to the kingdom of heaven within. Some people think his mission was to die for us. Jesus came to live for us. And then Jesus came and showed us how we can live. Follow me. To let go the lower, ascend to the higher, and live at that level of awareness. Jesus said, these are 2 commandments from Jesus. Love God with your whole heart, mind, soul, and strength. And love your neighbor as yourself. And so we know that God is in all, as all. And to love your neighbor as yourself. And God's in your neighbor. God's in you. You begin to allow that free expression. We can take it another step. Let us understand that anything of which we can become aware of is our neighbor. Whether it be a person, place, or thing. Because God's in everything. Some people are afraid of snakes and hate them. And in one of my metaphysics classes, we were talking about fear. And one of my students, a lady, she had a fear of snakes. She didn't like them. After class, she went home, grabbed her son, and went to a pet store and stood in front of these little aquariums and connected with the snake and sent love. And sent love. to begin to dissolve the fear that she held deep within her, that was given to her because she's one with the snake as we are, to expand into a greater awareness of what life is. To not withhold our love from any creature, even if we don't like them, because every creature, every life form on this planet is integral to our experience. And so we can have that experience, or we could say, no, you're a fool and you're stupid, Mr. Snake. I'm not going to listen to you. I'm not going to watch you. I'm not going to honor your life force. And even recognize what you do for me. You see? To love our neighbor, our animal neighbors, our people, places. Some people on planet Earth hate other countries. Can you believe that? I hate that country. Why? You see? I've never been there. I've never talked to people that live there. Maybe they heard a sound bite. I read a paragraph. There it is. Well, they're not like me anyways, so what do I care? It's one world, and we are one. To begin to rise above our lower judgments, condemnation, punishment. Because people come from another country, they have a different color skin, they're a different gender. They speak a different language. We tell people to go home. This world is our home. This world's our home. And the lines that man made on our planet aren't real. We can make them real, but the truth is they aren't real, because we have one planet and we are one people, the children of God. And sometimes when we start going down that road of withholding our love, we got to take a breath. Who am I? Who am I? To meditate on that. Who am I? If you meditate on that, it will be revealed to you, your true nature. No one can tell you who you are. They can, but you won't believe it. Because they're stupid. But if you go within and be still and ask, Father, I ask to feel your love. I ask to feel your presence. Guide me. Show me. Your life will take on a new light. Your light will take on a new life. Light and life, one. So as we begin to just understand who am I, and then who is everyone else, that's what frees us from the limiting thoughts and beliefs that we hold that separate us from one another. It's our choice. It's our choice. You know, hate and love are two energies. Which energy do you want to fill your world with? We choose. We choose and then we complain. To become aware of what we're choosing. To become aware of why we're choosing something. To not make love an afterthought in our life experience, but to take that love, God's love, and create with it. This month we've been looking at how we could use that love in our relationship with life. Through all of our relationships with life. Love with our relationship with God, to not have to fear God. Love with our relationship to the many shades, the many consciousness of man. To fear no man. Love with money. To understand that money is just energy. How do we use it? Are we going to flow it? Are we going to hoard it? It's energy. Are we going to be afraid of money? Afraid we've got too much? Does anybody have that one? I'm afraid I'm going to have too much money. Some people have that fear. Or some people have the fear they're going to lose their money. See, just because we don't have certain fears doesn't mean someone else does. And we can't look at them and judge that. That's their perspective. Anything that's limiting is less than God. Anything that's limiting is less than God. God's whole, complete, perfect. Whole, complete, and perfect. Wow. And God's within us. And so as we use love to be that brush, to scrub away the patterns and beliefs and the memories, even the karma, so that we can allow our love to flow freer and brighter and more radiant. And accept now, breathe it in. Breathe in all that life has for you. Don't worry about anybody else. They don't need what you need. You don't need what they need. Here's the big one. To begin to understand, what do I need to fulfill me? So that I can be open and flowing. So as we begin to look at our life, perhaps we'll see and have experiences where we have an opportunity to withhold our love. So one of the things that we can begin to set in our little program, and we could say to ourselves, I need to be a little bit more open. I need to be a little bit more open. And so when someone approaches me with an idea or something, at least I can be open to listen to it. No, it's not in my it's not in my world. Be open to it. Listen to them. Not, yeah, okay, yeah. Listen to them. This is your brother, your sister talking to you from their heart. And don't you love people to listen to you when you're sharing your heart to them? Accept the other for who they are. It's great that we're not all the same. It'd be boring. Accept their uniqueness, their individual expression of God. Accept them from who they are. Here's the big one for us all. We don't always have to be right. We don't always have to be right. Don't you think that closes the door to a lot of God energy through all of life? Letting go the need to be right. And then, if we could just give ourselves permission to change. Give ourselves permission to change. Look at our world. Our world's in major change. And we're part of that. We are one. And if we think that we can live in this world and not change, we're a fool and we're stupid. Because it's a big world, and it's a big universe, and it's a big multiverse, and we're a part of it. We are a part of it. And it far transcends our little idea, concept, belief, knowing of who we are, and what life is all about. But our teacher, Jesus the Christ, the love of God made manifest, gave us the pattern. And it's as simple as love. That's what he said, love. And he ended his mission, love one another as I have loved you. Love one another as I have loved you. Let's go within. And as you close your eyes and breathe in, just follow that breath all the way down right into your heart. Breathe in that holy breath. God's love filling you now, and just go deep within your heart. And as you breathe and go into your heart, just find yourself in the garden of your heart. And just look around at this beautiful place and feel how safe and loved you are here. And your garden's ever expanding. Beauty and love and awareness. And I want you to walk to the center of your garden to a well. And I want you to look down that well. And looking up from that bottom of the well is an aspect of you. It could be a past aspect of you, a subconscious belief, memory that you still hold deep within your heart. And I want you to look deep down in that well and recognize that trait, belief, memory, or pattern, and ask God for understanding. What do I need to see? What do I need to know? What do I need to do? And ask that light flood down into that well now. Let there be light. From your heart, speak these words, let there be light, and see that light, God's light, begin to fill that well. And it begins to dissolve that aspect of self that keeps you from loving, from hearing, from accepting, from being God's love, in which we move and live and have our being. And just see that well clear now, filled with the waters of life that feeds you along your journey. Look around your garden and notice how it's a little brighter. Take a breath. Be still and know. This is who you are. The beautiful garden with a wellspring of life waiting to express even greater. Breathe and feel. Breathe and know this energy. Become aware of a radiant light showering over you now. Feel yourself being lifted, transported through time and space back into this room. Feel your consciousness back in your body now. Feel your feet on the floor. Glad to be alive on planet Earth at this moment in time, with this opportunity to love even greater. Be still and know I am with you always. Take a breath. Gently wiggle your toes and fingers. Gently open your eyes. It's a simple journey to go within. But we have to choose to go within. And then we have to be courageous enough to look. Nothing's hidden. To look. And once we see it, ask God, what do I need to see? What do I need to understand? What do I need to know? And you will be shown. And then you can let it go. Let there be light. Let that light dissolve the patterns that limit our expression. And know that your life is a beautiful garden. And that wellspring of living waters is within your heart. And just allow it to flow throughout your whole life, whatever you're doing. And say, yay, God.
Amen.